जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे राधे, जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे राधे, जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम, जय निताई गौरांग जय निताई गौरांग, जय निताई गौरांग जय निताई गौरांग, जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव। चलो प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री गुरुदेव की जय। Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to Srimad Bhagavad Gita class. So today we are reading from chapter 6, Dhyan Yoga, verse 13 and 14. Is this the same verse? 13 and 14. Okay. Samam kaya shiro grivam dharayanchalam sthiraha sampreshe nasikagram swa dichaschanavalokayan प्रशांतात्मा विगद्भि ब्रह्मा चारी व्रते स्थितः मना संयमच्चित्तो युक्ता आसीत मत्परः समं काय शिरो ग्रीवं धारयञ्चलं स्थिरः सम्प्रेष्य नासिकाग्रं स्वा दिशाश्चानवलोकयन् प्रशान्तात्मा विगद्भि ब्रह्मचारिव्रते स्थितः मना संयमच्चित्तो युक्त आसीत् मत्परः समं काय शिरो ग्रीवं धारयञ्चलं स्थिरः सम्प्रेष्य नासिकाग्रं स्वा दिशाश्चानवलोकयन् प्रशान्तात्मा विगद्भिब्रह्मचारी व्रते स्थितः मनः संयमच्चित्तो युक्त आसीत मत्परः. Word to word translation. Samam, straight. Kaya, body. Sira, head. Grivam, and neck. Dharayam, holding. Achalam, unmoving. Sthiraha, still. Samprekshya, looking. Nasika, of the nose. Agram, at the tip. Swam, on. Disha, on all sides. Cha, also. Anavalokayam, not looking. Prashanta, unagitated. Atma, mind. Vigata, Vigata, be devoid of fear. Brahmachari, Vrate, the one in the vow of celibacy. Sthita, situated. Manaha, mind. Samyamya, completely subduing. Mat, upon me. Krishna. Chitta, concentrating the mind. Yuktaha, the actual yogi. Asita, should sit. Mata, me. Paraha, the ultimate goal. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One should hold one's body, neck, and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. Purport. The goal of one's life is to know Krishna, who is situated within the heart of every living being as Paramatma, the four-handed Vishnu form. The yoga process is practiced in order to discover and see this localized form of Vishnu and not for any other purpose. The localized Vishnu Murti is the planetary representation of Krishna dwelling within one's heart. One who has no problem to realize this Vishnu Murti is uselessly engaged in mock yoga practice and is certainly wasting his time. Krishna is the ultimate goal of life, and the Vishnu Murti situated in one's heart is the object of yoga practice. To realize this Vishnu Murti within the heart, one has to observe complete abstinence from sex life. Therefore, one has to leave home and live alone in a secluded place, remaining seated as mentioned above. One cannot enjoy sex life daily at home or elsewhere and attend a so-called yoga class and thus become a yogi. One has to practice controlling the mind and avoiding all kind of sense gratification, of which sex life is the chief. In the rules of celibacy written by the great sage Yajnavalkya, it is said, Karmana manasa vacha sarva vasthanu sarvada sarvatra methuna tyago brahmacharyam prakasyate. The vow of brahmacharya is meant to be help one completely abstain from sex, indulgence in work, words, and mind at all times, under all circumstances, and in all places. No one can perform correct yoga practice through sex indulgence. Brahmacharya is taught, therefore, from childhood, when one has no knowledge of sex life. Children at the age of 5 are sent to the Gurukula, or the place of the spiritual master, and the master trains the young boys in the strict discipline of becoming a brahmacharis. Without such practice, no one can make advancement in any yoga, whether it is dhyana, jnana, or bhakti. One who however, followed the rules and regulations of married life, having a sexual relationship only with his wife, and that also under regulation. It is also called a brahmachari. Such a restrained householder brahmachari may be accepted in the bhakti school, but the jnana and the dhyana school do not even admit householder brahmacharis. They require complete abstinence without compromise. In the bhakti school, a householder brahmachari is allowed control sex life because the cult of bhakti yoga is so powerful that one automatically loses sexual attraction, being engaged in the superior service of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, Shloka 59 of chapter 2, it is said, Visaya vinivartene niraharya dehina rasa varjam rasopyasya param drasvata nivartate. Whereas others are forced to restrain themselves from sense gratification, a devotee of the Lord automatically refrains because of superior taste. Other than the devotee, no one has any information of that superior taste. Vigata bihi. One cannot be fearless unless one is fully in Krishna consciousness. A conditioned soul is fearful due to his perverted memory, his forgetfulness of his eternal relationship with Krishna. The Bhagavatam 11:237 says, Bhayam Dvitiyabhi Vinishetaha Sayad Isat Apitesya Viparyayo Smritiha. Krishna consciousness is the only basis for fearlessness. Therefore, perfect practice is possible for a person who is Krishna conscious. And since the ultimate goal of yoga practice is to see the Lord within, a Krishna conscious person is always the best of all yogis. The principles of yoga system mentioned herein are different from those of the popular so-called yoga societies. ॐ ज्ञानं तिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जलशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मायं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं सजीवं सावधैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे. So we are reading from Bhagavad Gita on this auspicious month of Kartik, and this chapter is Dhyana Yoga, in which Krishna is telling about the different aspects and different ways of reaching him. In Dhyana Yoga, he has told us the path where we have to control our body, mind, and all activities. And then we have to regulate our mental activities fully. and devoid ourselves from any of the thought process. This is one of the way to reach Krishna. That is why Krishna has mentioned it in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. There are different ways to reach a destination. There is always a different path and different ways, and it takes a different uh, type of approach and altogether different time to reach that particular place. But an intelligent person is a one who tries to find out a right route, a right path to reach that particular destination with less hurdles or nearly no hurdles. So this is one of the way which has been mentioned by Krishna, which has been followed by some of the people, dhyana yoga. But it is not that way easy to achieve it, because in this we have to just give away everything. You have to leave your family life. You have to follow the life of a son. You have to follow the life of a sannyasi, and onto that you have to keep no connection with the world. Then only one will be able to reach the apex of this dhyana yoga paddhati. We have different kind of paddhatis, we have different kind of yogas, as Krishna has mentioned here: dhyana yoga, jnana yoga, and bhakti yoga. Srila Prabhupada has given a very beautiful explanation purport in this, in which he is giving us all examples, uh, all realization also, that it's in a when we approach Krishna, it is very easy to get connect with him. But when we try to achieve Krishna within ourselves as a Vishnu Murti Chaturbhuj form, it gets little difficult, because every path have a set of rules and regulation. You cannot live in your house and follow dhyan yoga, because you have to have fully seclusion. But the world in which we are living is full of people, full of mobile phone. Now everything is on your mobile. Technology is so fast. We cannot even think of living our one day without our phone. Even though this is not a wrong, totally a wrong path. This path do exist, but this is one of the most difficult path to achieve the ultimate purpose or goal of one's life. As it been mentioned here by Srila Prabhupada, no one can perform correct yoga practice through any indulgence in material life or sex indulgence. Brahmacharya is taught, therefore, from the childhood. So, this practice of achieving dhyana yoga starts from the very childhood. We in our ISKCON also trained our children into brahmacharya. They have been sent into Gurukul, and they are trained into Bhakti Yoga. They have been trained into Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. They are given good moral values based on the stories of Srimad Bhagavatam, the actual life happenings of great devotees. They imbibe all these good qualities and try to become a better human being. This is one of the way to follow spirituality. Another way is to just give away everything, go into some jungle or somewhere where you will not be connected to anybody. Well, in today's world, it's very difficult to find a place where you will not find anybody. Every place is densely populated, and this is the way. But we have to find the right way to reach uh, the ultimate purpose of one's life. Here, in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has mentioned different, like first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita are talking about Karma Yoga, middle 6 chapters are about Bhakti Yoga, and last 6 chapters of Srimad Bhagavad Gita are dealing with Jnana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga is a part where one gets connect with the higher energies, what we call the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. He is the ultimate source of each and every individual, each and every universe, whichsoever, wheresoever they are existing. Krishna is the master of everything. So in Dhyana Yoga, they try to connect themselves with the higher energies through controlling their senses, cutting themselves from the material world. This path is very difficult to achieve in Kali Yuga. This path used to be practiced by earlier by the sages, dhyana yogis, and the yogis. They used to achieve, but in today's world, it's very difficult. So bhakti yoga is one of the easiest way where you can live in your family. You can cook nice food, offer it to the Lord. It becomes prasadam. You have it with your family. Chant the holy name, make your gatherings, get togethers in congregational preaching, take part into temple activities, live all your week in your house and come to Sundays to the temple. So this way you are being connected to your material world also, and slowly, gradually you proceed further for your spiritual advancement. This is one of the most easiest and one of the most popular path which is set by Bhakti, by Srila Prabhupada and other acharyas, which is called Bhakti path, Bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga is easy for householders, for women, men, children, everybody, even the elderly, those who are advanced in their age, they cannot take up the path of Dhyana yoga because they have been suffering from this problem, that health problem. They can easily pick up Bhakti yoga at any time of their life, even their age is advanced, they are elderly, but they can hear the holy name, they can chant the holy name, they can hear Bhagavad Gita lectures, or if they are good enough with their eyes, they can also read few shlokas per day. So this is a very practical approach where one can do whatever they are doing in their house, in their companies, in their business, in their job, and along with that, they can also proceed further. They are not leaving anything, rather they are adding value to their life. We all believe in value added things. We always wanted to add some value to our lifestyle, some value to our bank balance, some value to our status. Bhakti yoga is one of the best added value one can ever achieve. If you are a human, you are born to have spirituality, you are born to have bhakti in your life. You must be, you know, you get in some of the association of devotees somewhere through books, through prasadam, through congregational chanting, through kirtan, through rath yatras. We get a chance to get involved with devotees. This is one of the wonderful chance to realize one's very existence. Nowadays, because of the pandemic condition also, we all are suffering mentally. We are agitated, and and also in Kali Yuga, actually everyone is having some or the other problem where we are suffering, and we are thinking that my suffering is the biggest. But when we go to others and try to see how much they are suffering, it gives us really some hope that my suffering is little less. Anger is prevailing everywhere. Frustration leads to anger, and unfulfilled desires lead to frustration. So this is a full chain. But when we try to follow bhakti yoga, when you try to become a devotee, when you try to associate with devotees, all this level of frustration, all this level of anger, all this level of stress starts coming down. Why? Because directly or indirectly you're associating with Krishna, who is all powerful, who is all attractive, who is all beautiful, and who is all full of love. So when you associate with Krishna or his devotees, you feel a kind of happiness, you feel a kind of what you call fulfilled. Something has been fulfilled in me. I feel accomplished. I don't know what I accomplished, but I feel something I have accomplished after visiting the temple. So chanting of the holy name is also one of the most easiest way recommended in Kali Yuga, where you achieve, you get association of Krishna through chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So everybody is hankering. We are we are hankering for love. We are hankering for some kind of peace where I will forget all these stress. So Bhakti Yoga provides you. Bhakti Yoga provides you that kind of uh, surroundings, that kind of association where you feel happy not only externally but also internally. This is one way beyond from this material world. Even though we live in here, but we experience which is really not material. Anything which is related to Krishna, whether his name, his books, his pastimes, his devotees are not material, even though they look like. There is a one story about anger. I was hearing one of the lecture few years back in Bangalore, I guess, or in Coimbatore. I was there. I've heard one beautiful story, and it's about anger, like how we suffer through anger, and we can relate it to our day-to-day life. And Bhagavad Gita really help us to get off anger and anguish attitude. And in the story, there was a Hindu saint, and he was sitting with his old disciple at the bank of river Ganges, and he turned one of his disciple. They were into uh, some hot argument, and they were shouting at each other. Not that in a fighting mood, but they were shouting at each other. Then the guru turned toward the disciple and asked from the senior disciple, "I don't know why people shout at each other." So he asked this question to his senior disciple, and the disciple turned toward the Guru humbly and said, "Why they shout, Guru Maharaj? I think because they're angry with each other, because they're unsatisfied with each other, whatsoever the reason, that is why they are shouting at each other." So then Guru turned toward the another disciple and asked, "Can you explain me why people shout at each other? So especially when you say they are angry." So the another disciple also given one or two examples, like when we don't get our desired thing, we get angry. When person are not supporting, we start shouting. But whatsoever the clarification or the reason given by the disciples, the Guru was not satisfied. Finally, the saint replied, "When two people are angry at each other, they are hurt at a distance. To cover that distance, they must shout to be able to be audible to each other. The angrier they are, the stronger the gap, the bigger the gap in between them, the louder they should be to let the other person hear the voice." So when we are angry with each other, actually our heart is at a distance, and distance is increasing. We start shouting at each other. Guru said this beautiful thing. And what happens when two people fall in love then? They don't shout at each other, but they talk softly because their heart are very close. The distance between them is either very less or non existent. The saint continued, "When they love each other more and more, what happened then? They do not speak, they only whisper, and they get even more closer to each other, and finally they even need not to whisper anything. One understands the words without being uttered." So this is the beauty of love, and that is the situation of being angry. So we can understand this from this very story. It's a very sweet small story. We can use it in our day-to-day life. When we are chanting the holy name, when we are uttering the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We are just saying it very softly, but Krishna is hearing it because these words are being said by a devotee out of love, out of affection, or out of surrender. So we need not to shout, we need not to be angry with each other. We try to see Krishna presence in each and every individual. Here in this verse also, Srila Prabhupada, in purport, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned the localized Vishnu Murti is a representation of Krishna dwelling within one's heart. So we can understand Srila Prabhupada is telling Vishnu Murti, the Chaturbhuj form of Vishnu, Narayana is present in each and every individual as Paramatma. That is a localized form. When we go and understand Vishnu Tattva, there is a three main form of Vishnu Tattva. Mahavishnu, then comes Garbhodakshay Vishnu, then comes Shirodakshay Vishnu. Here, the localized Vishnu Murti is Shirodakshay Vishnu, who is present in each and every individual, whether human, animal, bird, aquatic, whosoever. So, everything is openly given here. Yoga practice needs a lot of give up, but bhakti yoga practice needs a lot of love, affection, and togetherness with devotees and also with Krishna and all the gurus. We should always uh, into the mindset that how can I serve better to my Guru Maharaj? How can I serve better to Krishna? This is a wonderful path where there is very less stress in comparison to Dhyana Yoga Paddhati. In comparison to Jnana Yoga Paddhati, this Bhakti Yoga is one of the easiest way where you can achieve the ultimate purpose even you are working or a housewife or a student in a college or a university. Here from this story we can always remember this story. I have heard it few years back. I remember it whenever somebody is shouting. Even sometimes I do also shout, but then we have to remind ourselves that we are here to understand that we are not the doer. Everything will not happen the way we want. Everything will happen the way Krishna want. But then also we have to slowly but steadily proceed further so that we can be loving and we will be loving and we will be passing on this all whatever realizations we have earned, what we have survived with, we should share it with each other so that others also get encouragement, motivation to be steady in the path of bhakti. Bhakti yoga is easy, but we make it difficult by being little more lazy, by letting ourselves get involved into too much into material thing, by try to achieve more than required. So we need to settle down our thing at a level where we get chance to do little more in our bhakti. You need not to become a sannyasi. You have to become a devotee. Here, Prabhupada has mentioned a person who is living with his wife can also be a brahmachari if he follows all rules and regulation and have everything in control sense. Then that person who is a householder, who is a grihastha, he can be also at a platform of a sannyasi. They are called a grihastha sannyasi. Grihastha sannyasi is a very safe position because you are living a married life, but then also you are following the bhakti path. You are preaching, you are taking classes, you are giving classes, you are talking your realization, you are receiving the realization of the devotees. So here you have a lot to do, you have a lot to learn. But when you follow Dhyana Yoga, you are just alone. So you have to be very much fixed that you are not going to come back to this material world until unless uh, you achieve the Dhyana Yoga, the ultimate purpose, getting to know the Krishna, which will be what you call, he will be appear in front of you, which is really very difficult in Kali Yuga, or you will see him Krishna within your heart, which is already residing as a Paramatma. So this path is there, but it is a difficult path. But the cult of bhakti is so powerful that one automatically loses attraction for sexual life and other material thing. This is a natural process. You have to do nothing extra. You have to just chant your rounds. You have to attend Mangla Aarti. You have to attend Shringar Aarti. Here, Srimad Bhagavad Gita class. Follow four regulative principle. Chant your rounds. And you will be doing whatever the sannyasis will do in Dhyana Yoga, whatever the big saints will do, Rishi Muni will do. You will be doing that same thing, sitting at your home, following all these things. And furthermore, Krishna has mentioned here, uh, here Vigata Bhi. Krishna gives Abhay and Abhayam. Abhay means no fear. So one cannot be fearless unless one is fully Krishna conscious. A conditioned soul is fearful due to his perverted consciousness or memory of forgetfulness. So one one need to be fearless, and Krishna is the one who is giving abhay to his devotees, to his surrendered, to those who are following the path of bhakti. Krishna is giving them abhay dan. Abhay means no fear, and in this material world, I mean the present situation, we can see we are very much fear of everything nowadays. Even walking without mask is also a fearful thing, but we have to follow all these things as Tesh Kal Patra. It's been mentioned by Srila Prabhupada so many times, as time, place, and circumstances, things has to be followed the way they are. And here we have to become fearless. So these two things are contradictory. But how to become fearless? Fearless from your own anxieties, fearless from your own internal what you called tug wars that you are going through. First, you have to get free from your own clutches, your clutches of desires, your clutches of jealousy. First, you have to cleanse all these things. You have to get out of that fearful situation of failure, fearful situation of not getting that fame, fearful situation of not getting that name. You have to first get out of your own zone. That is first form of fearlessness. And Krishna is giving the Abhay Hasta, where he is blessing his devotees that you will be fearless. Don't be fearful. Krishna, it's been mentioned in some of the places when Krishna start listing, when we start listing the divine treasures or virtues of human in Bhagavad Gita, it has been mentioned that uh, the reason for this is that person who is always scared, the one who is cowardly is not able to follow anything actually properly. If you are afraid of just everything, you will not be able to live a normal life. You will, what to talk about the values, what to talk about the moral ethics. You won't be able to stand for yourself because you are fearful. You are just fearful of giving away your own drawbacks, your own negative notations. So it is not always easy to practice dharma, swadharma. It is very difficult for a person to follow swadharma when a person is fearful. It might take a lot of courage, boldness, and guts to take a decision that is correct, but hard to take. But one who is a coward will hesitate to take a step forward and take correct decision. As a result, he will not move forward and will not be able to achieve the ultimate purpose, will not be able to proceed further, whether it's your material life or whether it's your spiritual life. So one has to come out of that fearful situation. People are very much fearful of becoming even devotees. When we go and uh, talk to some neophytes, some new people, they're they find it very difficult. They find it very fearful to become even a devotee. They say, oh, it's how to chant this many rounds, how to give up this, how to give up that. So fearful situation is pervading everywhere. So, how one can survive a happy life when you have been surrounded by so many fears, fear of death, fear of less fame, fear of this, fear of that. There's so many fears they have been surrounded by, and fear of devotion also. People are so much scared of becoming a devotee that they think their life will finish if they become a devotee. If they take up Hare Krishna movement, it will be very difficult. But actually, it is opposite. When you take up the Krishna consciousness, your life become more subtle, more sober. You become more happy person. You become more positive. You become more of a person in which things will start settling down rather than it's always like a moving wave on a top of an ocean. But when you settle down deep into the ocean, it's more subtle, it's more sober, it's without movement. That is a situation of a devotee, but it's not achieved in a single day. It takes weeks, months, years after years to get up to that situation where we really enjoy our spirituality. Spirituality is a path of happiness. Spirituality is a path where we are really into a bliss, where whatever happens but depends on Krishna. Say Krishna will take care, but then yes, we have to follow the basic ethics. We have to follow the rules and regulation, and we have to first be honest to ourselves. Then only we can proceed, because then only you will be able to find what are you lacking and what you actually need in yourself. So as I mentioned, we all are surrounded by fear, and only Krishna can make us a fearless person. There is no one else who can make us the way we always wanted to be, as a happy person, as a fearless person. And also, like, fearlessness also means that we should constantly avoid hating others. When you become a devotee, it's been taught that we should love and respect each and every individual. We should not hurt other feelings of other. The feeling of jealousy should not be there. Granting the gift of fearlessness is superior to all other gift of charity. By doing so, the donor attain that world or state that he is desiring. He who grants the protection to frightful creatures begets a long life and happiness, and all his mental desires are fulfilled. So, being a devotee, we should be non violent to others. We should not kill others for eating. So, these are the basic things as a devotee we follow. We don't kill others to eat, because this is again uh, against the principle of a devotee, because the devotee is seeing Krishna in every individual soul, whether it's an animal or a human being. We are respecting each uh, creation of the Lord, whether they are animal or a bird or a human being. So devotee is respectful toward everybody. He is not just seeking uh, good for himself, he is also doing good to others, like Srila Prabhupada has done for all of us. He has created this movement, and we are all are getting benefit even after he has gone back to Godhead. He is there residing with Krishna, but he is also present here with us in the form of his books, in the form of his instructions, and still we all are taking benefit out of it. So this is the bhakti path. The bhakta, the devotee of the Lord, wants everybody to be happy. The devotee not only seeking happiness or success for himself, he wants every individual to be happy, every individual to be successful, every individual to achieve all peace within self. So this is one of the best yoga, we can say. And what we call yoga is a kind of addition. Yoga means adding on. When we talk about yoga is about addition. We are adding. So when we are adding Krishna in our life, this is the biggest addition one can ever do. So this yoga is the best yoga, bhakti yoga, in which you are adding Krishna. You are actually adding value to your life. And yoga is not just limited to breathing exercise. It is one form of yoga's. One form is also the breathing exercise, the postures, different kind of sitting posture that helps to maintain one's body. But when we talk about extended form of the actual form of yoga, that goes still from body to the soul, and that connects to the higher realization and uh, to Krishna. As I said, some of the Dhyan yogis wants to connect from individual soul to the supreme soul with the universe. So this way, they are trying to fit themselves in a kind of a kind of tuning. They want to tune themselves, their brain, their energies. They want to tune in such a way that they connect with the universal form, with they connect with the universe and try to get all knowledge with himself. And Bhagavad Gita defines yoga so many times. Krishna has mentioned this word yoga in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So yoga is not just about, as I mentioned, not just about pranayam, breathing exercise or postures. It's about taking your life more further and getting to know which is unrevealed to most of us, and that is spirituality. Yoga is a balanced state of thoughts and intellect. Yoga is a balanced state of behavior, actually, where we try to understand how one should behave in a sophisticated manner, in a manner where you're not hurting other. We are excited in a situation of pleasure and we become sad when we are in a negative situation. So yoga do not permit this. You become happy when things are in your favor, and you become sad when you are into some negative situation or you don't achieve what you were expecting. Yoga doesn't permit. Yoga says you should be yoga is to maintain the balance of mind in each and every some situation. You should be in the same state of mind. That is actually yoga is all about. You should not lose your control. You should not be too much happy or too much sad. So when you are into actual yoga form, after understanding Srimad Bhagavad Gita, hearing Srimad Bhagavad Gita, reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita, then actually you start following the yoga paddhati, where you will not in any kind of distress, because Krishna mentions in Srimad Bhagavad Gita so many times, like sukha dukha is like winter and summer. So they will keep coming and going. So devotee understands that because they are reading it. They are trusting the words of Krishna. They are trusting the words of Srila Prabhupada and all the acharyas. They are having full trust and faith. So they know if Krishna is doing something with me, so something good is gonna come. If I am having a suffering, something good is gonna come to me, or I have to learn some lesson out of it. So it's always, devotee is always onto the part of a training. It's a lifelong learning. Day after day you have to learn something, and that is the beauty of this devotional service. This is the beauty of bhakti yoga. So yoga is to maintain the balance when you are sad or when you are happy, but you are in a steady form. So you are not giving any pain to anybody, you are not giving any anxiety to anybody, neither you are feeling it for yourself. So that is a situation of steadiness where you achieve the actual happiness, the bliss form. We all are trying. As a devotee, I will, for myself also, I am also trying past so many years. I have a long way to go, but then I have a faith in Krishna, I have a faith in Srila Prabhupada, and I have to put on all my endeavors day by day. One day I will achieve that state where I will not be agitated by material things, or maybe some of the failures of some spiritual services what I am doing. But in spiritual life you have to always keep on moving without taking your step back, because we are doing it for ourselves, we are doing it for Krishna. So when you two are there, you need not to worry for others. Krishna is taking good care of all of us. So bhakti yoga uh, is a way of life. It's not just you have to take up just small part of it and do some weeks or some days and forget. No, you have to take up it as life changing process. It's a transformation, actually. It's a transformation of a normal person to a person who wants to get enlightened through Krishna, through Krishna's book, through Krishna's prasadam, and with his devotees. So this is a process of enlightenment. So we all will take up more seriously this path and try to achieve what we are born to. Hare Krishna. I stop here. Any questions, comments?
Thank you. So anyone has any questions, you may unmute and ask a question, or you may write in the chat box. Anyone with questions or comments? It seems none. Thank you very much for your class.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.